Welcome to another episode of the Weeb Retreat podcast. We hope you enjoy your stay. We are the Weebs, your hosts. My name is James. This is Germs. Before we begin today's episode, I would like to address the elephant in the room. Why am I wearing these lovely shades? Is it because I'm blind? Is it because I'm a douche? Is it because I'm trying to look cool? It's all of the above. So yeah, we're rocking with them this episode. Little incident with my reading glasses. So these are prescription. So yeah, we're just gonna have to go with it. No hat today either. How are you doing, Germs? How you doing?
Doing good. Spicy time.
Lots of changes around here, but you know what's not going to change around here? The fact that we're going to get into the weekly roundup. Timestamps are going to be in the description as always. So let's get into the weekly roundup. Boku no Hero, Season 5, Episode 7. What'd you think, Germs?
I thought it was pretty good. A little bit better than the previous ones. You know, there was a lot of interesting little things going on. The powers were kind of a little interesting. You know, that one guy that makes things soft and all that. And then one of my favorite things that happened in the episode was when Endeavor was just on his phone trying to text Todoroki. He's like, don't ignore my messages. You see all his messages he sent to him without a single response. I thought that was pretty a little funny.
Yeah, so, I like that moment a lot. That was really good. Yeah, you know, we get some stuff outside of fighting, which is what I want a little break from the fighting at this point. You know, Uraraka crushing on Deku. You know, All Might talks to Deku about, you know, his experience with One for All and his little experience at, I think it was the first episode. Mm-hmm. Then the Endeavor stuff with Todoroki. Here's the thing, though, and I hate to be negative. Do we learn anything new from these scenes outside of the 1A versus 1B showdown they have going on right now? No, I don't think we learned that much from them. They're nice little moments to have, but nothing really that interesting going on. But, you know, of this season so far, I'd say this is one of the better episodes. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. There's just a little bit extra things going on. Nothing like super exciting, but you know, I wasn't very bored. It was just, you know, I was just kind of like, okay, you know, it's the usual episode. Nothing really crazy or spicy. That's just kind of the theme of this whole season. It's just not bad, but not, you know, great. So just kind of just going through the motions until something happens.
You ready to be put on the hot seat, Germs? Ready for a tough question?
I'm always ready.
All right, so Boku no Hero, it's a great show. We both love it. We're both fans of the series. Would you say, so far, they have not really dabbled into filler that much. We get some filler stuff, but it's usually taken from a canon arc, right? Would you say, of all of the arcs we've had so far, would you say this is the worst arc so far, Germs? Anime only. I know you've read the manga, but so far, in terms of this adaptation, would you say that so far this is probably the worst arc?
No, I still think the school festival one was the worst one. At least that had like I guess it was a little bit of stuff, but this is way better than that. So, but yeah, that's a pretty low bar already. So it's kind of it's barely over the bar here, which is not that good. It's pretty unfortunate for it.
See, with the school festival, I actually like that they kind of did something new. Yes, it had a really dumb villain. It was totally dragged on to meet the episode count they wanted. I get that, but at least with that, we got something new. This just feels like same old, and I'm just kind of tired of same old at this point, but that's me personally. I don't know if you watched this episode with headphones on, but the OST, when the third match was being announced, really good stuff. But then you get to the actual fight, and it's decent. It's, hey, at least we don't have Comic Man this episode, right? Like, at least we don't have joke characters. But again, just nothing to write home about.
What are we talking about?
We have Pony Girl. There we go. But for me, nothing to write home about. Nothing to be hyped about. Nothing's really being foreshadowed. I know something big might happen at the end of this arc, but nothing is really being foreshadowed that keeps me interested, to be honest with you. So that's just what I think. Final thoughts for this one, Germs. What did you think of this week's episode in total?
Yeah, it was pretty normal. The one thing, the other thing I just remembered, but the Ida stuff with him ripping out his mufflers to get out new ones. That was a little interesting. A little bit of progression with that character. We haven't seen in arcs, not even just episodes, arcs. Finally getting a little bit more with him, but I think that's all we're really going to get with him, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
it's just really sad to see.
yeah, it was cool seeing him do that. It was cool seeing Todoroki reference his father, Birdman, forget his name. He referenced Hawks. I don't know if they kind of referenced Deku and All Might, but you know they're kind of talking about being the successors, the new generation, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it honestly felt like they were trying to just fill the episode with moments like that. Honestly. And that's how the arcs felt so far. But that's just my personal opinion. What did you guys think about this week's episode? Let us know down below in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts are. All right, so let's get into Shaman King 2021, episode 6. What did you think of this week's episode, Germs?
This was a pretty interesting one. It was a little bit different. I liked the Ainu culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know that we were speaking about the last episode. We were talking about like, oh, you know, the Native Americans are the ones facilitating the fight in Japan, but like the Ainu, they exist. And it's like, well, this episode, look, there's the Ainu people and their spirits and all that kind of stuff. So that was nice for me because, you know, Golden Kamuy, I loved it so much. And seeing the Ainu culture, so seeing that in Shaman King, it was real nice, real nice. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. James?
Refresh me on the Ainu culture. Who are they?
So they're kind of like the indigenous people. They're up in Hokkaido, the winter, and like the winter place there. So they're just like kind of like how the Native Americans are for us. You know, they
No,
just,
I know that.
I know that.
I mean, within Shaman King, I know all that.
Oh.
Because I don't know if it's a difference in sub, but are you talking about the spirits, the forest spirits? Okay.
Yeah.
In my sub, the forest spirits were called
Kompoku.
Koropokuru. Okay, yeah. So okay, we are thinking of the same thing. Because I thought you were going there, but I was like, oh wait, hold on, I don't remember them going into that. Yeah. And we got a new opponent this episode, Horo.
Snowboy.
The snowboy. Snowboard boy. He actually looks cool. I know you can just tell from the OP and stuff like that. He's gonna stick around. Better. We're getting better. We're progressing the plot, I guess, right? Because there's 3 preliminary rounds, and you must defeat 2 opponents. So that's cool.
We're halfway there,
I guess. And then they're going to move on to the second stage of the tournament. It's weird. This is 52 episodes, and we're already getting this episode 6. So obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that we don't know that's going to go on. But again, it's better than some of the earlier ones that were setting us up. But were the fight scenes really good? Not really. Did we get any really good character stuff or anything of note, anything to walk away from the episode and be like, damn, that was really good? Not really for me, but it was not as bad as the previous one. So I'm just happy that we're trending upward. I want to see some badass fights though coming up. I know we're only 7 episodes in, but I want to see something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think the one thing that's improving is like the uniqueness of the fight. So, you know, this isn't just, you know, fist on fist. You know, he's on a snowboard. He's using ice and snow and avalanches and all that stuff. Yeah. So, you know, there's a little bit of uniqueness there that you won't see. You know, in Boku no Hero, you see that all over the place. You know, everyone has cool powers, but it seems like here it's usually a bit more grounded. You know, sword on sword or whatever. So, seeing a guy on a snowboard using snow powers was pretty interesting to see.
And it's cool to see how the shamans are interacting with their spirits, right? Like the integration and all that. So it's cool to see that. It's cool to see that, you know, fights are going to probably progress into that style as opposed to, you know, what we had before. It's cool to see Yo, you know, tackling his newfound power. Again, I'm just waiting for some good stuff, you know. I'm just waiting for some good stuff. So yeah, I mean, not much to say for me. Anything of note that you want to add? Final thoughts, Germs?
Yeah, the one thing I do like is Yo's character is like, you know, he's kind of like carrying on all of his opponents, you know, dreams, and, you know, not just like erasing them, just like, yeah, you know, I like your dream too. I'll add it on. So and also in the same way, that's also kind of meant it's like, oh, he doesn't really have like his own unique dream other than just like he keeps bringing on everyone else's. But in the it can really go either way on that. I like it, but at the same time, it kind of feels a little not much room for Yo to grow.
It doesn't feel unique to the character. He's kind of adopting, and thank you for bringing this up, by the way. I actually blanked on this one because I guess I do have something to say about it. I like that he does have somewhat of a purpose, but having an MC that his purpose is kind of
everyone else's,
and he's gonna, once he becomes the king, he's gonna implement what everyone else wants. It just doesn't feel unique to the character, like. It feels less consequential. I hate to be nitpicky. I hate to be that guy, but if all these other people lose the tournament, no big deal. Yo is going to implement everything they want, right? Yo is going to change things for the better. So it almost feels like what everyone else is fighting for is kind of pointless, because if Yo becomes the Shaman King, well, it doesn't matter that they lost. So again, I know that he's supposed to be a laid-back character. I know that. But if he could have a little bit more of his own identity and a little bit more of something to fight for on his own, I'd appreciate that. But just something that I thought of, Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Because it's kind of something like with Naruto, like his dream of being Hokage and all that stuff. It's like one constant goal, what his end goal is, other than just, I guess, being Shaman King is kind of like being like super Hokage, but like, it just feels a lot different than something like from Naruto, of like his dream of like originally, it's all original Naruto, him wanting to be Hokage, not just being like, oh, someone said you should be Hokage, so now I'm gonna be Hokage,
Yeah, you can come join me. Like, it's not, it's very character driven with Naruto. He has a very individual personal goal that he has to meet. And Yo doesn't really have that right now. Almost feels like Anna is kind of pushing him more to be a Shaman King, so she can be the missus, But yeah, just something to think about. Not a bad episode by any means. Just I want to see it move along here. Let's move along now to the good shit. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, episode 5. What did you think of this one, Germs?
Oh, as always, Mr. James. As always, good shit.
Absolutely.
The beginning with the dream with like when Nagatoro was like in her dream and her friends were taking him away from her and he was like, oh, I'm done with being bullied, I'm gonna go with these chicks. They treat me nice, and then her just waking up in a cold sweat. It's nice. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I love the jealousy aspect, dude. I'm just going to say it. I think this is turning out to be a great anime, bro. I think that this is turning out to be a great anime. I really did not think I would like this. I thought that this would be a very mid show. I thought it'd be like, okay, like every show has a gimmick, like Kakegurui has a gimmick. Like some shows just have that gimmick, I thought this gimmick would wear thin really quickly, but I really am liking this. And, you could probably expect going into this that, yeah, there was going to be some romantic tension between them, but I just love how we don't have to wait a season or two. It's just refreshing in anime, because a lot of times you have to wait for stuff to happen. But with Nagatoro, we're getting them blushing and the awkward situations, and it just reminds me of just flirting, like this is the flirtatious anime. If you've ever had weird times with girls or fun times with girls, or like if you're ever with a chick and like you can tell that she's treating you bad, but like you have fun with her and it's playful, this is the anime, dude. This is the anime equivalent of that, and then some. Yeah, I think it's turning out great. There's some spice too. Would you agree with me? Is this turning out to be a great show, Germs? Am I overhyping it?
I don't know. I already knew. I knew this was gonna be good shit. I already knew.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to watch, because I knew this was gonna be some real good shit. So, and they did it. They're doing a fantastic job in all aspects of it. They have voice acting, the opening and stuff. So it's just great job. I don't know who's doing it, but
yes. Round of applause. Yeah, the production is great on this. This is a really good adaptation. I think the OP is great. The visuals are great. Dude, just looking at the background, like the trees in the second half of the episode, they're all drawn. The style is great. They're all drawn nicely. you know, some people don't care about visuals when it comes to anime, but at the end of the day, it's anime. Like, we're not reading a novel, we're not reading the manga. Like, it's visual. We want it to look nice. You know what I mean? Some stories are good to where the story on itself stands alone, but just having that nice visual aesthetic pushes it over the top. You know what I
The
mean?
cherry on top, you know?
Exactly. And this show's being handled very well. I'm really enjoying it. I love the moments between Senpai and Nagatoro. Even the awkward moments, like her friends barging in and they're gonna cut his hair. Personally, I don't care who has the clippers in their hands. If it's a guy or a woman, I'm smacking the clippers out of their hands. Don't touch my hair. Off limits. I don't care how hot you are. If you're not trained in cutting hair, you're not touching this, okay? But you know, and he's like wimpy, so he can't really do that. And then Nagatoro gets jealous. It's really the jealous show, and I just love those jealous moments. Would you agree? Like the jealous moments are just really the cherry on top for me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just been, and then you know, and he also treats her well, like with the ice cream scene. Like she's about to get like a heat stroke, standing there for so long, and he's like, he you know, when it comes down to it, you know, he goes and takes the action, you know.
And he stands behind her so that the dudes behind him can't see her bra, you know, through the sweat in her shirt. So he's getting a little bit protective of her, right? Like, we know that he finds her attractive, like when she, you know, teases him and shit. But now it's turning slightly, you know, I don't know what word you want to use, romantic, I guess. But he's now looking after her a little bit, right? Like, he's not just wanting a kiss from her or like, you know what I mean? Like getting turned on by her. Like, now he is actively standing behind her, shielding her, like, you know, she's his, you know what I mean? So they're both looking after, and she does that with him, with the friends and the jealousy. So they're both kind of doing that with each other. And then the end, dude. They know how to leave you hanging, where they exchange contacts. It's just perfect because, you know, she sends him the text like pervert or whatever, right? Like, the show isn't willing to go into territory where you know that they're a thing, or you know that they're, you know, kind of exclusive, right? But at the same time, we're getting inches there, right? Like, we're taking slow steps there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's totally different than something like Kaguya in a different way. Like, I feel like the amount of progression we've gotten in just like the 2 episodes has been like a whole season of Kaguya or 2. Like, it happens in Kaguya, but then like next episode, it's like, oh, you know, it's kind of like maybe a little bit something, maybe, but like each episode, it feels like we're getting progression with each of the characters, which is real nice, real nice.
Absolutely. And the fake outs here, they're not pissing me off. There was a fake out in Kaguya season 2 where it looked like they were going to kiss, I believe it was. And it really pissed me off because, like, dude, we're in the 2nd season. But with this, it makes more sense. We're only 5 episodes in. Like, the fake outs here are fine because we're still getting some of that slight undertones of romantic attraction between them, right? So, yeah, I really have no complaints with this so far. It's progressing at a perfect rate for me personally. So, good shit. Final thoughts on this one, Germs. I'm thoroughly enjoying Nagatoro.
Oh yeah, great episode every week so far. And I haven't been let out in the slightest at all. It's only been getting up and up as I was hoping. So it's only just gonna be, next week is gonna be better than this week. You know, every time I start the episode, I'm like, is it gonna be as good as last week or better than last week? It just always keeps building off the last one and getting more spicy and spicy. So good stuff,
guys,
great stuff.
Gals, weebs, whoever you are, if you're interested in the show, check it out. Yes, there's a lot of drama behind it. A lot of drama over Nagatoro's race and is it bullying and is it whatever. Ignore all the online stuff. Stay off Twitter. It's actually a good show. There's nothing too bad here. It's a fun, lighthearted show. We highly recommend it. So far, so good, right, Germs?
It's only going to get better in my opinion. But
absolutely. So leave a comment down below. Are you watching the season? Let us know. We think it's fantastic so far. All right. Let's get into the next show on our weekly roundup. Tokyo Revengers, episode 5. What did you think of this week's episode, Germs?
Whew. What a spy! There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot to unpack here. There's just the beginning of, like, there's the real world, current time stuff. It was kind of like, okay, we were kind of expecting that, but once he jumped back in, we went right into the spice. He was right in the thick of it.
Yep.
I was like, okay, like initially when I was like, okay, oh my god, and him and Hinata already going this far, and it's like, oh shit, who's this girl? Like, oh no,
oh, so good, so good. I gotta say, let me say this at the top of this review. I was a little let down with last week's episode. I did not like the dramatic pacing, but guess what? I understand why they did it. If they had extended last week's little blip in the story to 2 episodes or 1.5, I understand why they kind of rushed it and put all that in one episode, and then bam, starting this episode, he goes back to the past. I still stand by what I said last week, but it makes sense in the overall grand scheme of the story. Last week I was a little bit worried. This week we're back on track, baby. Back on track. No, back to the goods, right? No complaints with me on this one. Just a fun, good episode all around. This is the pace. This is where I like the story to be personally, and a lot of good, funny moments, right, Germs?
Oh, funny moments, and also a lot of like spicy, like serious moments as well. Like the story about what happened to that guy and the other gang, and why it's like, oh, we see in the past, like in the current times, like, oh, they fought, and blah blah blah. It's like, but at the time we're like, oh, those are just words, fight, someone dies, it doesn't really matter. But when you actually see the moments, you see the people, you see why the motivations and why they're doing it. It's like, oh, okay. This is not just a fight. This is something more, not just some words on a newspaper,
Right. Yeah, and I loved at the end of the episode, what really stole it for me is the interaction between Mikey and Draken. How, because it hints that Mikey kind of needs Draken as his second in command to kind of hold him accountable, I guess. And like our boy said, it makes sense why when Draken dies, because he's going back in the past to save Draken now, that Mikey goes off the walls. Because right now, Mikey is a really fun, charismatic character, right? He's very upbeat, but it makes sense now, seeing that how close the two are and how he kind of keeps them in check like that. So yeah, I'm getting more familiar with the characters. I'm getting more familiar with the relationships. This is and again, this is why I didn't really like last week's episode. I like this style of the show more, hopefully, because he has 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. So I assume 2 weeks comes and he either achieves his goal and saves him, or he doesn't. And he'll go back to the future. And this is how I assume the story will be going forward. He'll go back to the future, make plans. What do we got to do now? What's changed?
What's next?
Exactly.
What's happening next?
Exactly. And then he's going to go back, and there's going to be a new time frame that he has to meet. And I assume that's the direction the show is going to take. At first, it was just saving Hina. Now there's building complexities on top of it. So, I was curious about that at the beginning, because the manga, I believe, is still going on. So I'm like, how are they going to... Oh my
God. It's still going on?
I believe. Don't hold me accountable to that.
Yeah.
I believe most anime that get adapted, the manga is still going on. And so I was curious. I'm like, how are they going to stretch it? How is this, because it's a time travel piece. Like, usually the hero goes back in time, does what he needs to do. Bam, everything's good in the present. But yeah, so I see how it's going to be extended a little bit further, because again, the goalposts are getting moved, and he has 2 weeks to achieve this latest goal. So yeah, I'm really digging Tokyo Revengers. I'm really digging it.
Yeah, I just did a quick look, and it's like currently at 22 volumes. So that's at least like 3 seasons of content right there. And that's what it is currently. So by the time the 3rd season comes out, there'll already be enough for, for 4th or whatever, the finale, whatever. So a lot of content to look forward to, luckily. So I really just hope they keep up this good style. He isn't just going back in time just to go back in time. He's back to save his friends, save the people that he's met along the way, make sure, everyone comes out of this, hopefully alive and all well. Obviously there might be some mistakes around the way. Because he can't go because he can't. It's not like Subaru. You can't just redo this over and over again until it's perfect. There's
Right.
probably be something's gonna go wrong. That he can't undo because that's just how it is. So I thought I really like the style of the way he has his powers and how the story's going to go. Because, he can't, if he does something, like if he did sleep with his Mikey's girlfriend, he can't do that, something like that. So I like
Yeah.
there's consequences to his actions in the past. So it's just fantastic.
Yeah, what I really like is that the timeline is somewhat parallel, right? So when he does go in the future and he goes back, he doesn't know what his past self was doing, right? Because his self on that other timeline is let's say he was gone for a day or two this time. Well, that original character still is alive for that day or two. So, as we saw, he's with Mikey's chick, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's interesting. I'm really interested to see when he goes back in the future, and then back to
What's changed?
his past. Yeah, what's changed, because it's not in his control. It's in his other self's control, if that makes sense. But yeah, so far Tokyo Revengers. Good stuff. I would say we recommend this one too, right, Germs?
Oh yeah, easily. There's a lot of good stuff this season.
A lot of good stuff this season. Guys, are you watching Tokyo Revengers? Again, comment down below. What are you guys watching with us along the ride here on the spring 2021 season? All right, let's get into the next one on the weekly roundup, Germs. 86, episode 5. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one.
Ooh, a lot of spice. Well,
Let's hear it.
These episodes have had a lot of spice go on. The whole kind of like, now we have some more, like a more lore dump on what's going on. What the guy is hearing. When it goes to these battles, and how the main character takes all these voices and all that stuff going on, and just like, whew. And then also him, talking about like, oh, you think you're gonna be able to win in 2 years? It's he's giving her a reality check, and for for good and bad, for her, luckily she was able to take it. But I like that one moment when, like, after that fight, and the one guy is all like, oh, she's never going to come back after hearing all that stuff. And then like a few seconds later, she's like, I'm back. Sorry about, leaving you guys. So there's a lot of spicy little moments here. The lore and, some of the setup, like what's going to be going on here. Now we have to like, figure out, how can we win the war within a few years, or be able to survive, So a lot of spicy things going on, a lot of spice.
Are you finally sold?
I think so. I think in my head I'm not saying I am sold, but I think it's got me. I think I'm like the fish in my mouth with the hook still in my mouth. I just haven't felt it yet, but I think it's got me.
This is why I like doing the show with you, because I think we have differing. I think we agree a lot, but we do have differing opinions sometimes. For weeks, you've been saying it's too slow for you. I think it's getting too slow for me, dude. So the fact that you're coming around to it is interesting. Listen, this was a good episode, but I don't know if it's the style of the show. I don't know what it is, but it does feel like. Would you say it's still slow to you?
I don't know. I think we're flip flopping, Mr. James. This
week. We are, man.
Because I feel like technically not too much happened, but I feel like lore wise and scene wise, there was a lot of stuff going on there.
That's how I feel every episode. Good episode, solid, loved it. Good character stuff, but not much is really happening. Listen, the lore dump is good, but I'm just talking about the actual plot of. Like, yes, as the audience, we're learning a bunch of stuff, but it feels slow to me. And the first couple of episodes, I was like, Germs, don't worry about it. It's going to get better. Now I actually think I'm starting to understand what you were saying, but now you're kind of getting more into it. So it's really interesting what we think of it. But, I mean, still a good episode nonetheless. Listen, I think it's a very weird concept that the dead or their souls, or however you want to put it, are somewhat fighting for the Legion still. What did you think of that concept? Because I got it. I was there. I was present. I was like, okay, they're doing something unique. I like it, but it was a dump. It was definitely an info dump, and I wish they would have showed us and not told us as much. But I guess it makes sense because it's his experience. But what do you think of this concept? Because this concept is very interesting, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting idea. They're kind of taking whatever brain matter or full brains. It's like, oh, if they don't have the full brain, it's only like a grunt. But if they have like a full brain, then we get like I thought they get the shepherds or whatever, and it's like, oh
Hmm.
shit, so it's getting a little spicy here. So it's an interesting idea. Um, I wonder how the actual, I kind of wanted to see more of the other side because we rarely ever see the other side at
No,
all.
yeah,
Like we don't even,
very,
we don't,
yeah.
all we see is, they come in every once in a while, they get destroyed by 86, something goes on. We don't really know what's like the strategy of like the higher ends on either side. We don't even know. We're just they're just trying to survive, and are we actually like pushing the front? Are we trying to go towards somewhere? Because currently it feels like they're just chilling and like, oh, we're being like it's like a tornado coming by. It's like, oh shit, we gotta buckle up. Let's get these guys real quick. It doesn't feel like there's any. They're not progressively trying to do anything. It's just like reacting to whatever. It's like, oh, I can hear them coming in, so let's defend the place. So maybe, hopefully, now that they're both kind of on the same page, they both know what's kind of going on. Hopefully, we can actually be progressive and try to actually do something against the Legion instead of just sitting back and then just okay.
Kind of yeah, just watching their people die and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, with the Republic side, all we really get is Lena and that that character that she sees from time to time. Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing much of the Republic. We know that they're kind of cold-hearted for, doing what they're doing to the 86, and we certainly don't see anything on the other side. I mean, do we know what the Legion's doing? Do we know why? I mean, I guess we kind of know why this conflict is happening, but yeah, I mean, listen, there's two types of stories. There's plot-driven stories, and then there's character-driven stories. I would say most of anime is probably character-driven, but then there's some that are heavily, heavily plot-driven, right? Like a good example is like Attack on Titan, right? Of course, there's good characters and we get some characterization, but like a show like that is very heavy on the plot. The plot is the driving force, absolutely. Then if you look at something that's slice of life, I mean, we could whatever, right?
For
Anything
days.
slice of life is going to
Nagatoro.
be Nagatoro. Is Nagatoro huge in the plot? No, it's way, way more based in characters, right? So this one is certainly more plot driven, certainly more story driven than character driven, and that's fine. Info dumps are fine, I guess, but yeah,
We're not getting much plot.
we're not getting much actual plot, right? There's a lot of build up, there's a lot of explaining, there's a lot of I mean, there's a lot of character stuff, but again, you can just tell that they're not going deep into the characters. So what I want to see is where is this plot going to go? How is Lena going to work with the 86 to maybe get them out of their I guess enslavement, their them being marginalized and discriminated
Service and
against.
all that.
How is she going to get them out of their servitude? How is she going to help them win the war? We're 5
She's only
episodes
one person.
in.
Can she even do that?
Can she even do it? How is she going to manipulate maybe the Republic to get what she wants? So I just want to see a little bit more of that stuff go on. I want to see the plot progress. I'm glad that we have more of a backstory on the Legion, but I want to see more of it progress for sure. So final thoughts on this week's episode, Germs.
I personally think there's a lot of good stuff there. There's a little bit of a lore dump, but I think from now on, we really got the setup of what's the goals. Why are we doing this? I think we've had enough backstory. We're already 5 episodes in. I think we've got enough about all the characters. Let's go right into it.
Absolutely. And guys, gals, weebs, are you watching 86? What do you think? Did you read the light novels? Like, where are you coming in for the story? We're anime only, so this is all new to us for the first time. Maybe, hey, listen, people might be like, hey, it picks up. What are you guys talking about? It's slow right now, but it's going to pick up. So let us know in the comment section below, guys. All right, let's move on here to Nomad, Megalo Box Season 2, Episode 6. What did you think of this week's episode of this underrated gem, Germs?
Woo. I think we have a lot of answers, and to some of the questions that have been going on for a little while. What happened? Why does Sachio hate him so much? What happened during this fight and all that stuff? What was the outcome? I was like, okay, maybe Joe won, and then maybe he got the money, and then he wasn't able to. He was already dead by the time he got the money. But no, he lost the fight. He lost his mentor. He lost his family. So it all kind of makes sense why he became the way he was in episode 1. He pretty much basically lost everything.
I love this series, but I'm starting to get slightly worried about it. Slightly. And that only because it's coming from a place of love. I love this show. I think the first 4 episodes, the whole Chief arc, the whole Chief saga, I just grew so comfortable with that. Like, I just thought that was going to be the direction of the season 2. And huge curveball, that's gone. That's done. The whole immigrant thing and the Spanish vibes and fighting to protect their home, that's kind of, it happened. It happened the first 4 episodes, but we are completely in new territory here. We are back to we're back to season 1 territory, but just, you know what I mean? The story has progressed, and yeah, we listen, this episode gave us some good answers. We know why Sachio hates him. That's good. I think everything gained in those 4 episodes has kind of been thrown out the window. It's weird. Right at the start of this season, Joe was pissed off at fixed fights. And what does he do in this episode? He does a fixed fight. And so I don't know. Did he learn anything from the Chief arc? I don't know. It's starting to feel like it was 2 different shows. Like, that was its own little spin-off arc, and now we're into the main story. It just feels a little out of place for me. Do you agree, or am I talking nonsense, Germs?
Yeah, it's a really tough question, especially since we haven't even heard any Joe say anything about what's been going on. Because usually, this show doesn't really have much of like inner monologues.
Right.
He's not. We had a little bit with his demons and stuff, but ever since then, we haven't heard Joe really say much. He's kind of been quiet, just doing what he does. Like, Joe needs someone to talk to, so we know what Joe's thinking, because we have no idea. It's like, I think obviously I don't think he wanted to do this fixed fight, but I think he kind of had to for these kids.
Yeah, I know why.
But but currently we have no, from Joe's perspective, we don't know what's really going on here. We're kind of left in the dust. So it's a weird feeling.
I think I have 2 questions. With the Chief arc, they talked a lot about home. Right? What does home mean? This concept of where you stay and family, right? Like, the fact that they were immigrants, but they are starting their new home, and that the butterfly, was it the butterflies or the mockingbirds? Hummingbirds.
Or one of those 2.
Always follow you home, almost signifying that home is where the heart is. Just stuff like that, right? And so, is he going to try and rebuild Jim Nowhere and make that a home again? Is he sorry for what happened? Like, is he fought for Sachio, but does he feel remorse for his actions? I don't know. And if you think about, why is Sachio so pissed? Is it, they're kind of implying it, but is it because Joe stayed and fought instead of going and checking on Nanbu? If that's the case, yes, I understand why they're pissed off. But is he really the cause of Nanbu's death? He just wasn't there in the final moments. He was kind of being an ass, kind of being selfish. And he did promise Nanbu that he would take the fight and he would fight for him and try to make money so that they can find a cure. Yeah, so I'm just curious, like, he didn't really cause Nanbu's death. Maybe there's something to the story that we don't know yet, but yeah, he didn't really. I'm just trying to figure out.
Nanbu was in his best interest. He fought. He took the fight for Nanbu. He continued to fight for Nanbu. It's not like he was on his own selfish reason just because he wanted to fight Yuri and Yuri's disciple and whatever. That wasn't the reason why he took the fight.
I don't really feel like Joe did something wrong at this point. So, if the story wants to work, it needs to make us see what he did wrong and see his redemption and see why he needs to apologize and grow and build better than before. But right now, I don't really
You just listen to some kid, whatever he said.
Sachio's kind of an asshole, dude. Like, I'm sorry, but right now in the story, again, we're learning details. Maybe Joe somehow caused the death or really was being an asshole there at the end, but I don't see what he did wrong so far. Yeah, I don't really see what he told Nambu that, so I don't really see what the issue is here. There was an issue, I get it, but not enough for them to disown him and never see me again. Sachio is kind of pissing me off as a character, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
it just feels so needless, like kids fighting and all that, but they're no longer kids,
Listen, if there's a reason that Joe did something wrong, okay, but it feels like the story is trying to push this on us and try to
dramatic.
It's being a little bit dramatic here, and that's why I'm saying I'm a little bit concerned because the Chief stuff was great because we didn't know what the story was. We know that he did something wrong. We know he was addicted to pills and his life was spiraling out of control. But now we're finding out and it's not holding the gravity that you would have hoped it would. So I don't know. Maybe there's a detail that we're missing, but please, if this can be fixed, I'd greatly appreciate that going forward. So yeah, but still a good episode. Still hype for the series. Listen, we're 6 episodes out of 13. If they can stick a landing, this might be an underrated classic, Germs. The first season was great. I thought the Chief stuff this season was fantastic. So, yeah, final thoughts on this week's episode,
bring back
Germs?
A Chief arc,
Yeah, I know.
Something good. Hopefully.
Well, yeah, so, if they don't reference them again, it'll feel like those 4 episodes were for nothing. So if they can weave that back into the story, please, again. We're making a lot of demands here, but we just want to see the show succeed, you know what I mean? So...
yeah, I completely agree. Hope they bring back and incorporate some of those themes and bring it back. Maybe Joe's at his lowest again. Not as low before, but he's low again. And now he's gonna think back to Chief and hopefully remember those words he told him and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I agree. Just hope they bring some of that good stuff back into it.
And please, if you have an arc where a character is down and it's the redemption arc and they're trying to make themselves better, please don't put them in another situation where they just kind of go back and it's almost a slap in the face to the viewer. Like, did he even learn anything from his time with that family and Chief? He's taking fixed fights again. I just don't know. I got to see where it goes. I'm judging it a little bit too early, but if he learned nothing from that arc will feel like it was completely meaningless, and that is what I do not want to happen. So, guys, are you watching Megalo Box? Comment down below. What did you think of this week's episode? Very few people are watching this. They got to get on this, Germs. They got to get on this because even this episode, as weird as it felt, out of place as it felt, still good stuff. Still good stuff. All right. Let's get into the winner of the week. What is your winner of the week for this week, Germs?
You already know what it is. I think we both know what it is. Nagatoro, baby, back at it again. Back to back winner, baby. Like, there's some good stuff going on here, but for me, Nagatoro is it just feels so good, watching.
Anything that's like a runner-up, anything close to it, or was it clear for you? Nah, Nagatoro was the best episode this week out of these 6.
I think by Tokyo Revengers, there's a lot of good stuff there for me. So I think that would probably be my runner-up, but just the funness and, the teasing and, all that kind of stuff with Nagatoro is it feels so good, I feel good watching it, I feel good during it, I feel good after, so... there's some spice and Tokyo Revengers. I'm like, oh, what's happening here? Like when he goes back in, there's like, oh my god, what is he gonna do now? There's a lot of good stuff there, but for me, Naruto it just feels so good. It's just like junk food, but probably not a little bit more healthy,
a little bit more filling for me. Not just junk food. Like I'm liking what I'm eating. I'm liking what I'm filling up with. I think I could not agree with you more, dude. For me, Nagatoro is going to be the winner of the week for me, and a very, very close runner-up is going to be Tokyo Revengers. I like that we're on the same wavelength here. We might disagree a little bit on 86 so far, but I think those 2 episodes were definitely the best of the week. And hey, back to back, I'm not going to lie and just pick another show just for the sake of picking another show. I really did like Tokyo Revengers, but man, Nagatoro is just doing it for me. It's fun. It's not
fulfilling.
It's fulfilling. It's not waiting too long to get to the goods. It's giving us the goods, and that's exactly what I want. Midway season thoughts here, Jeremy. Do you want to get into some midway season thoughts?
Yeah, we can just go through each show real quick. Kind of. Well, let's go right from the beginning. Boku no Hero. We're like 5-6 episodes in. It feels like not really much has happened if you really think about it. It's like that's half a show, for some shows. So
I'm
I
not
feel
dig-
like
I'm not
yeah.
digging this arc, man. I'm just not digging it.
Yeah, I feel like with 6 episodes of like Jujutsu Kaisen or Attack on Titan, a lot of things are going on, tons of things going on. But Boku no Hero, 5 episodes in season 5, it feels like
Same old.
same old, same old. Nothing spicy, nothing cool, nothing interesting. Even if they did something interesting, but it kind of failed, it's like, okay, they tried something new, but it's kind of like, well, we're kind of like training, but like playing dodgeball or not dodgeball, but capture the person or whatever. No stakes.
No stakes. Nothing.
We're just kind of going.
No good character moments. Nothing really interesting happening. Yeah, it's what you'd expect. Shaman King, is that going how you expected it to go? Because we're brand new to it.
It feels like from what I would expect from 5 episodes in, it's kind of doing just a little bit more than I was kind of expecting for a shonen. For a shonen, like I expect like some Boku no Hero kind of speed or whatever, or like how slow they turned Black Clover for some reason. I feel like there's a lot of like we've already had like 3, 4, maybe 5 fights already. That's pretty high, I would say, especially like think like the beginning of Naruto or something. Like usually they do a slow build of all this kind of lore and stuff, but with 50 something episodes we're working with here, they're kind of going right into it. Getting this a little bit. We kind of want to see what the actual Shaman King fights, but we're getting some characters introduced in a nice natural way. It doesn't feel like they're throwing like 30 characters at us and expecting us to remember them all. So I think it's doing a pretty good job. I don't know how great it's going to be eventually, but there's potential here.
There is potential here, but please, can we get some better fight scenes, man? If I'm gonna watch a shonen, I just want good fight scenes. Please, I'm not asking for the best characters. I'm not asking for the best plot. Please, just give me some good fight scenes. That's all I'm asking for with this show, and I'm not really getting them. But hey, it's only 5 episodes in. 86. Where are we standing with 86 so far?
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's happened, but I feel like at the same time it's been kind of slow in the actual plot department. Like we're kind of nothing, like no actual big fight has happened at all. Well, there's been fights, but like we haven't, the characters that we've known, they haven't done anything. They're still at the same base. They're just guarding themselves from the Legion and all that stuff. So hopefully, finally, from now on, they could go off and do some crazy and good things. But currently, not much has happened, but a lot of really interesting world building and a lot of interesting characters here. So a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of world building for sure. No doubt about that. Good stuff. But listen, we're at 5 out of 11. So
that's the one.
Let's pick it up. Season 2 is already announced. We're gonna get a season 2, but let's just
I don't want to have to wait.
Let's just get somewhere with this first season. You know what I mean? Let's just get somewhere with it. You know what I mean?
What's next on the list?
Tokyo Revengers. Where are we standing at with that one?
Oh, good stuff. No problems at all. I'm having a great time. A lot of good stuff.
Too.
Me and James had a disagreement about the last episode and what we thought about that, but overall, been absolutely fantastic. We haven't seen many fights or anything like that. So, but the actual story and characters and Hinata, good shit.
I don't need fights in the show. I'm already entertained. I'm already digging it. Even if the action is not that great, everything else is doing it for me. I was not a big fan of last week's episode, but I understand why they did it now in retrospect. Extending that point in time any more than an episode would have been too long. So I get it. He was meant to go in the future so that he can go back in the past and have a new goal. So yes, at the time I didn't like it. Now I understand it. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this anime. Such a good one. Everyone's hyped up about it. And no one's talking about Boku no Hero. People are talking about Tokyo Revengers. People are talking about Nagatoro.
86,
man, but very few people are even talking about Boku no Hero. It's a weird season we're in. And then last on the list, the one that nobody's talking about, Megalo Box season 2, Nomad. Where are we standing at with this show?
The first 4 episodes absolutely fantastic. We were super loving the direction they were going with the vibes and everything that was going on, Chief and all that. And it kind of feels like we're back at like I feel like there could have been a whole spin-offs, it's a little series there, some OVAs for all the current season right now cares about. So hopefully they bring that in. He remembers his what Chief has told him and all that stuff. So I see the potential if they do that, but if they don't, incorporate those first few episodes back into the story, and we kind of just get like season 1, part 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna be.
Listen, I loved what we have so far. I love the first season. We got 7 episodes left. I highly doubt this show gets a season 3. I think it's probably going to end here. I just don't see the studio seeing this as a big enough success to continue more production on it. So if we are assuming that we only have 7 episodes left of this story, please stick the landing. This can be an underrated classic for all fight fans, for all, if you love Hajime no Ippo, if you loved Ashido no Joe, which was meant to commemorate the first season. Again, I'm rooting for it, man. I'm really rooting for it. If this sticks to the landing, if this gives us a solid 7 episodes, a solid ending, a solid conclusion to Joe's story, I'd be over the moon about it. I'd be very ecstatic about it. This would be the hidden gem that everyone overlooked, and it's really good. But let's see how these 7 episodes go so far. I mean, listen, with the quality that we've been given so far, we shouldn't worry, right? Like, we know it's in good hands. They've given us a good content so far, but I want to see where these last 7 go. I'm very curious about it. All right, so that's our mid-season thoughts here. Good stuff so far, man. Good stuff so far. The spring 2021 season is upon us, Germs. It's upon us. All right, so for our weekly discussion, we're done with the roundup. Let's get into our discussion here. We're going to give you a review. We're going to give you we're going to fake you out. We're going to left on you guys. We're not discussing anime now. We're going to go live action Hollywood on you. Mortal Kombat 2021. Yeah. Hey, I'm glad they played that in the end. But anyway,
there's no way they wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
No, some reboots these days they totally forget the original music, dude. It's dumb. But I'm glad that they did that. Okay, here is our spoiler-free review of the latest Mortal Kombat movie. Have you guys seen it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have not seen it, did our opinions affect whether you're interested in this film or not? All right. Before we get into anything specific, what is your brief thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movie, Germs?
I think honestly it was a pretty fun watch. There was a lot of me and all the boys, James. It was a fun watch, honestly. There was a lot of fun moments, just dumb fun, we're not coming here expecting the high quality, plot and all that stuff. It's dumb fun, we're seeing crazy fights, blood everywhere, people's arms and all this kind of, Mortal Kombat. You're expecting Mortal Kombat here, and that's exactly what I came in. That's exactly what I got. So I'm really happy with it. I didn't feel like it was a waste of time watching. There was tons of funny ass moments and callbacks to the actual games and all that.
Yes.
So I think it was just dumb fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I would recommend it to any game. Anyone it's played the games or interested in games and all that stuff. So
you were satisfied.
Short little review. Yeah, I was definitely satisfied.
Okay. Yeah, I think the callbacks were great. If you are a Mortal Kombat fan, I recommend this. I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. I got a lot of enjoyment out of this. This is definitely a fun film. Definitely, I would recommend the theater experience because there is going to be a lot of scenes where the whole crowd is laughing. It's a popcorn flick. You're going to have some fun with it, A lot of Mortal Kombat characters that you expect to see. The fight scenes were good. Overall, if you want Mortal Kombat to be a spectacular film, something with a very serious plot, something that you can really get wrapped up in,
crying at the end or something.
Yeah, this might not be for you, but if you just want some dumb fun, if you're one of those people that wants to scream Mortal Kombat, and you just want to watch a film about it, bam, this is a great one. All right, let's get into some specifics here. Fight scenes. What did you think of the fight scenes, Germs? Because that's the big draw with Mortal Kombat. The blood, the gore. What did you think of the fight scenes?
Yeah, I think it was done really well, and also like the CGI of like, obviously a lot of Mortal Kombat characters aren't exactly human in a lot of aspects. So I feel like the CGI really and like the fight choreography and all that kind of stuff was really well done in my opinion. It's obviously there's a little bit of fantasy aspect to some of the jumps and kicks and all like how many times a person can get like stabbed and before dying, but this is just dumb fun. Good fun action.
Yeah,
There was enough.
go ahead.
There was enough fighting scenes there, and the variation in characters was really nice as well. It wasn't just two hand to hand all the time.
That is a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I think the fight scenes were done very well. Speaking of characters, I thought we got a great roster of characters. I will get into something specific later on, but overall, I think the roster that they chose was very good. I think pretty much everyone except for one person,
Except
which I'll
for
get
one,
into,
yeah, I know.
that I'll get into later, was from the very first game. They're all there. I thought the casting was great. I thought Jessica McNamee as Sonya Blade. I thought she killed it. I thought that they were all good. They all for what I envisioned, from what I want in a Mortal Kombat film. These people look and act the parts, and they do good. I mean, there's not one casting choice that I thought the actor or actress was wrong for that role. I thought that they were all great for their roles. The fight scenes, which is the big draw. That's the big draw. We're all here for the fight scenes. We all want to see some shit go down. I think it actually could have been a little bit more bloody and gory, in my opinion. Now, at the end of the fight scenes, you're going to get the blood and the gore, but not a lot of like the hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. You're not seeing blood splatter everywhere. And I guess I'm not trying to criticize it too much. I think that they were fine, totally fine in what they did. But it is Mortal Kombat. If we could get blood spilling and skin being ripped off and seeing skeleton, just all the Mortal Kombat-y stuff. Listen, it does a good job. Tons of blood,
there's a few of those
gore.
scenes, just probably
Spread thin and far between. So when they happen, it hits you really good. You're like, yeah, that was badass. Could have been a little bit more for my taste because I am going there for some dumb fun, but not a big deal. Really, not a big deal.
Yeah, probably don't bring children into this movie. We probably should have said that right at the beginning.
It's rated R, so yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
lots of blood, lots of gore. Any characters that stood out to you in this film that you really loved?
Well, I think everyone's gonna know. Kano, baby.
Yep.
So hilarious. So good. He had like the just enough Aussie accent that it wasn't in like too like, it didn't feel like it was unnatural. Like it felt like he kind of it just felt so good. His character was so hilarious, and a lot of the one-liners and all the actions he did was really perfect and fit to his character. And from what I've seen, I'm not super deep into the Mortal Kombat lore, but I really loved his character. And I was like, oh, maybe. I was like, oh, isn't this what his character does? And it's like, oh yeah, that's what his character does. And then now, and the powers and all the stuff, powers that they were all given, all that stuff really made sense, and how it all kind of worked out. The only person that felt a little weird to me, but it's probably that's completely me. But the Liu Kang, he felt a little bit young.
He did. I was not expecting Liu Kang to look like that, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean.
I forget what his name is, but Top Hat guy, I feel like, pretty good. I feel like everyone was perfect, what was his name? Jax, great. Sonya, great. The only person, I guess this is probably the main thing for me on this film is the main characters. It felt just a little off, Yeah,
let me explain that. Let me explain that real quick. So, the main character of this film is a guy named Cole Young. He was in Mortal Kombat. Oh wait, no, this is a new character. Yeah. Never before in the franchise, and it feels out of place. And we're going to get into spoilers at the very end. We're not going to get into any of that now. Don't worry, we'll give you a warning. But I do have some ranting about that aspect of the film. But yes, the new main character for this film, because there was a 95 film. The main character, I guess the main character of that one would be Johnny Cage. But this main character is Cole Young. He is a MMA fighter fighting in the underground. Shout out to MMA. He's got a wife and a kid, and that's all I can say about him. Not an interesting personality. I thought his
Generic
power up,
normal main character dude.
which we won't get into for spoilers, I thought was weak. I thought it was lame. I thought it was dumb.
His
I
outfit,
just he does not add to the
whack.
story and whack. He does not add to the story at all, and so that's a big grudge. But again, I got a whole rant to go into at the end for that. But yeah, let's finish up the spoiler-free section, Germs. We thought the action was great. We thought the casting was great. Kano, can I just say something about Kano? Kano was great. I'm not here to bag on him. The actor did a phenomenal job, but it feel like he stole too many scenes, right? They're juggling a huge cast of characters, and it almost feels like Kano's movie for a little bit. Everyone's laughing at his one-liners. He's stealing the show. And listen, if you really like Kano, that's good for you. And if you really dislike him, you're going to get a lot of him.
Hate it.
Yeah, you'll hate him even more. So I loved when he'd have lines, but they just felt too overpowering, right? Like we didn't get enough Kung Lao or Liu Kang, or we got a decent amount of Sonya Blade, but I just feel like they gave a little bit too much time to him, and the reason they gave more time to him is because his one-liners were funny as shit, man. Funny as hell. So good. So good.
Yeah,
and
that's
again,
true. I didn't think about that.
I'm almost complaining that it's too good, but I just feel like they gave too much time to him. If they had a smaller cast of characters and they had that much time to him, but they also had that much time to other characters, okay.
Like Jax kind of got a little shafted a little bit.
He got the shaft. A little bit, for sure.
I think like Sonya's just the perfect amount of time for Sonya.
Mm-hmm.
The main character, maybe a little. Well, I guess he's the main character, so I guess the right amount of time. But
yeah,
I just didn't like what they did with him, in my opinion. But I think everyone else, like Liu Kang, fantastic. We got his moments throughout the whole thing, and it wasn't maybe what's the hat guy? Maybe a little bit more with him.
Kung
maybe
Lao.
a little bit more Raiden. Kung Lao,
yeah. Raiden's another one. His character looked a little off to me, but again, I grew to like it.
His eyes were a little bit, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the casting was great, the fights were great, and the story is lacking. That's all. That's all my thoughts in one. Casting excellent. Fights really good. Story is just jokes. Not there for me. Jokes are fine. The humor's fine. But the story is just lacking for me. And that's just what I felt leaving the theater. And if you want a good fun popcorn flick, then bam, this will do you good. And it was very entertaining. If you're there to be satisfied with some good fight scenes, there you go. This will be good for you. If you want an engaging story, this is not going to be that. So yeah. That is my overall thoughts on the film. Let's get into your overall thoughts on the film. We'll give a quick rating, and then we'll get into some spoilers. Because I want to go into some of the negative aspects of the film. I can't really go into them here for spoiler reasons, but yeah. So overall, what'd you think of the film, Germs?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Maybe not.
That's a good question. Would you watch it again?
Maybe if someone has never seen any Mortal Kombat or anything, you're like, oh, let me give you an introduction to Mortal Kombat. And you're like, bam. But if it's like, if you have something else you could do, it's like, maybe play some Magic, maybe watch a new anime or something. Maybe watch this again. But I enjoy the time I had with it, so I'd give it like
out of 5,
7.
What are we doing out of 5?
I would probably give it a 3. It maybe seems a little high, but just the enjoyment and the way I felt after coming out of it, I really enjoyed it. There was some negative aspects that we'll get into, but just really dumb fun. I came in expecting a Mortal Kombat film, came out satisfied with it.
You got a Mortal Kombat film for sure. We're going to do 5 just to keep it consistent, and we don't do the halvesies, just 1 out of 5. A 3 is average, I would say, right? A 1 or 2
bit
is
above, a little bit.
A little bit of blood, but not good enough for you to give it a 4. But yeah, like 3 is like the middle, and then obviously as you'd expect. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. I'm not going to say I disliked the film, but it didn't do much for me personally. Good fight scenes. I love the stuff between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Give me a whole movie of that. I'd watch a whole movie of that. So, all right, that is going to be our spoiler-free section. Let's get into some spoilers. I got 3 big complaints, and let me just spew them right from the top. Is that okay, Germs?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. They gave us a Mortal Kombat film without Johnny Cage.
I didn't know you care about Johnny Cage that much. I remember after the movie, we were
He's
like,
my. Listen, I'm trying to be unbiased here, but he is my favorite character in the franchise. And in the '95 film, he's like the main character. Like it's in the game.
He's a Hollywood movie star.
In the reboot in MK9, kind of, it's kind of told from his perspective. Like you get introduced into the world through him. Why would you cut such a good character? Why, Jervs? Why? It baffles me. It baffles me. And what makes it worse, and this is my second criticism, is the new MC. Fuck Cole Young. Because remember, if we're going to go off the 95 film, we're going to go off MK9, they basically replaced Johnny Cage with Cole Young, right? No, that's not a good enough replacement. The MC is boring. His family serves as people he needs to save, and they add nothing to it. What's his reason? He just wants to save
his power is so his family, but like everyone wants to do that.
Who cares? I just did not care at all. Did not care at all. I think
his power is so whack. It's so lame.
They got rid of Johnny Cage and they gave us Cole Young. It's just a slap in the face, man. Yes, Johnny Cage is in the movie. They're going to go find him in the sequel or some bullshit. But why do I have to wait for the sequel to get Johnny Cage? Why? Why? It's Mortal Kombat. I expect him in the first one. Just as I expect Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Just as I expect Sonya Blade. Johnny Cage is not a character that they introduced in the third game or the fourth game or like... This is not some side character that... This is like having a Street Fighter movie. It's like having a Street Fighter movie without Chun-Li. Like, no, you cannot do that. That's against the rules, right? The two main guys, like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, okay, they're checked off. But again, it's like if we had a Street Fighter movie without Chun-Li. No, this is a character that's been there from the very first game. Well, technically not Street Fighter 2, but whatever. That's the real first game. That's when it got good. With Johnny Cage, it's inexcusable that they did not give us Johnny Cage. It's inexcusable. And he's my favorite character. It was such a letdown not to see him. That's the first criticism. That's the absolute worst. Main character. Yeah, I mean, but the Johnny Cage thing is the absolute worst thing about the film. Second criticism is the main character. I guess I don't hate him, but he was completely pointless. If you're going to introduce a main character, you better make him good because the Mortal Kombat franchise has just such an extensive library of people you can choose again, they gave us a decent size, a decent amount of characters to work with, and introducing a new character. Okay, you're taking a risk already. It better be a damn good character, and it was not. Total letdown. Couldn't care less about him. I really like Sonya Blade. I really like the Scorpion and Sub-Zero stuff. I really like Kano, even though I feel like we got a little bit too much with them for the runtime. Did not care for Cole Young at all. Then the third criticism I have, this one's pretty fundamental, but again, it might be a nitpick in some people. This is Mortal Kombat. And I guess you can have a Mortal Kombat film without the tournament. I guess you can do that if you want. But the problem is, and I'm not just relying on previous stuff in the franchise, right? Every game, the movies, all of it, right? Because you want to go into a new reboot with a new, fresh mind, right? But they teased it multiple times. They said Earthrealm has lost 9 times. If Earthrealm loses a 10th time, Outrealm or whatever is going to take over. And you know what I mean? Like they're on their last straw for Earthrealm. And so in storytelling terms, they promise us something and goes nowhere. We don't even know when the tournament's supposed to be. We know these people were chosen. I shouldn't have to wait for movie 2 to get a tournament and to get Johnny Cage. All of this should be in the first film. I shouldn't have to wait, dude. Okay, this movie's kind of shit, but hey, the second one's going to be good. Stick around. No, sorry. You've already lost me. You had first impression, dude. You've already, you know what I mean? I'm not here to stick around for a franchise if I don't love the first film. And listen, if they come out with a sequel, maybe I'll watch it. I'm not saying I won't watch it. I'm just saying these are not things I should have to wait for, in my opinion. If you don't want to have a tournament and you want to completely change the story, okay, don't bring up a tournament. But they brought up a tournament multiple times.
Multiple times.
And when you listen, and if they wanted to resolve it by being like, okay, it's coming up in 5 months, we're going to train for it now. Okay, but we don't even have a date for it. Instead, we get a collection of fights at the end. They felt rushed. Now, the big fight at the end between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, that shit was lit. But all the other fights, they felt rushed. They felt like they were just going through the motions to get to the big one.
Oh, I just remembered one big thing during that all those like the fights right before the individual fights. During all those like when they had the big free for all. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen a show or a movie where like the whole main cast is just getting their asses whooped. They were all getting their asses whooped. The only one that didn't Kung Lee, whatever, the hat guy
Kung
Lao with the that perfect flawless fatality. That was like I was like, oh, okay, that'd be the good guys had something on their side. But like other than that, everyone was getting their ass beat. Jax had those super wimpy ass arms. Sonya was getting destroyed by the other chick, the flying chick, whatever.
Doesn't matter though. They just pulled the rock up out of her like nothing, not a scratch on her. So okay, I guess it doesn't really matter.
That was I remember while watching that was the only thing I was like, wow. I don't think I've ever seen a thing where the whole cast is just getting their asses beat. And then
what's Jax's power? Like, how did he grow the arms? Is that explained?
He just wanted to be strong, I guess. I don't want to nitpick, I know, but like that during that those few moments during the movie, I was like, wow, like no one's got even a chance against these guys. And then like the usual, main character stuff, like 30 minutes later, now we're destroying their asses, It just felt so weird, just like, wow, they trained all this, and like they keep saying like all the way before, like, oh, these are your mightiest warriors. And it's like, oh yeah, and then they get their ass to be like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected. And
again,
then
if they wanted to do this film where it's like, hey, we're gonna have the Mortal Kombat tournament coming up, and Outrealm is gonna, or whatever realm, whatever, they're gonna agitate us, and we're gonna have some battles. Okay, but don't talk to us about a tournament and not give it to us. You know what I mean? Like, we got a Mortal Kombat movie without a tournament and without Johnny Cage. I understand bringing in a new character. Hollywood does that shit all the time, but we really just got a Mortal Kombat film without Johnny Cage and no Mortal Kombat. It just felt weird to me. That's just me. Maybe I'm nitpicking. I know to some other people that are not familiar with the franchise, they won't care. They just want to see some fun action, and you're gonna get that. So, anything in specific that you want to talk about spoiler wise, Germs?
No, not much. Well, I just have one little thought. But what would you have thought if we basically cut half of Kano's funny lines in half and gave that to Johnny Cage? What would you have thought if they like kind of like split Kano's character into like two? What would you have thought? Like half of the jokes and half the screen time that Kano had, but just give it to Johnny Cage. What would you have thought then?
That's exactly what I was thinking in the theater, because remember, they had the original three walk to Raiden's temple: Sonya, Kano, and MC Boy, right? If they replace no personality MC Boy with Johnny Cage, then you have an interesting dynamic between the three, because Kano and Sonya constantly go at it, and Kano is a wild card. Johnny Cage is a wild card, but he's more of a jokester. Kano is more of the extreme. And Sonya could have been the intermediary, trying to like, okay, guys, like, stop joking around now. We need to, you know what I mean? And the back and forth between, Kano could have called Johnny Cage like a prissy boy, or, you know what I mean? Like a wimp, because he's a Hollywood guy. And Johnny Cage could have been like, you take life too serious, like you're too crazy. They could have had a really fun dynamic between just those three before they, meet Raiden and meet Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Like that dynamic would have been so much more fun, so much better than the one we got. Again, I'm going into hypotheticals. I'm going into how I would have done the movie. I'm going into cinephile talk where I'm trying to play director here. I understand that people might say that these aren't really valid criticisms, but yes, I did think about that in the film, because Johnny Cage is a comedic character. If you cut half of his lines and give him half of Kano's lines and give him to Johnny Cage, I feel like it would have flowed a hell of a lot better. But that's just me personally.
Hey, in movie 2, that's probably what happened. That's probably what's going to happen in movie 2.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see who they cast and how they're going to do it. So, yeah. Well, guys, that is our review for Mortal Kombat. Did you see it? have we changed your minds? Are you guys interested? This is the spoiler section, so I guess that if you guys stuck around, you either don't care about the movie or you've already seen it. So drop us a comment below. What did you guys think of Mortal Kombat? Did it live up to your expectations? I would say it lived up to our expectations, right, Germs?
Yeah, definitely.
Just some. Man, the Johnny Cage thing pisses me off. I could talk about that forever. I'll never get over that. I'll never get over that. That's just me. Because I heard the rumor online. People are like, "Oh no, Johnny Cage." I'm like, nah, they're trolling. Like he's gonna come halfway in the movie, and it's gonna be a dumb entrance. But whatever, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him in this movie. He's part of Earthrealm. And no, we don't get him. Disappointing to say the least.
Wait for Christmas. And I'll get you a Johnny Cage cosplay outfit, James. Don't worry.
Yeah, like we have. It's like wanting a Nintendo for Christmas, and it's like you're not getting a Nintendo, but here's a poster of it, and next Christmas you'll get it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not the same, man. It's not the same. All right, let's get into the weekly news here. There's a show that's very near and dear to our heart, Germs. I'm sure the audience has heard of it. If you haven't, you have to check it out. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. We knew they were coming out with a season 2, but guess what, Germs? Guess what? They're in production. Studio Bind, which is a subsidiary of Studio Wit, a studio created just for Mushoku Tensei. Thank the Lord above. They're coming out with. They're working on season 2 and 3.
Oh yeah,
third season confirmed
already, baby.
Third season confirmed already. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. Like it was only like I think Shield Hero also had like a season 2 and a 3 announcement like after the season 1. So it's pretty crazy to see these days shows are not only getting like a second season confirmed, but a third season confirmed, which is just crazy, really crazy. Because like back in a few years ago, you'd be like, oh, this show ended. Like maybe we'll get a second season. Maybe they'll announce it a few years down the line. But now it's like, not only did they announce like a season 2 while it's airing, but a season 3 like months before even season 2 comes out. So it's just insane. And I imagine they're going to keep the quality. I don't see any reason why the quality would.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
like
100%.
I haven't checked like the sales figures, but I would imagine it did pretty well. They did a really good job, and they literally have to like take people off of the studio. They're only working on one thing. That's all. That one thing and one thing only. Like, can't really mess it up in any way like that. So,
exactly. And speaking of the studio, did make a small mistake. It's actually White Fox, not Wit. I confuse them all the time. They did ReZero. But yeah, Studio Bind is solely working on Mushoku Tensei, a little bit of a controversial show, but hey, man, I'm not even that big into isekais, and I think this show is fucking gold. So yes, the season 2 will be coming out in the summer. You can absolutely expect that to be on the weekly roundup. Germs has read some of the manga, so Germs is more ahead than I am, and good shit, right, Germs?
Oh yeah,
good shit.
I'm waiting every month for a new chapter to come out. Well, for the manga, light novels they're probably already all done. I'd imagine, as light novels always are. They're leagues beyond.
Yeah, they're probably way ahead. But yeah, I'm not even that big of an isekai dude. But I gotta say, Mushoku Tensei, there's something, and it really came out before the big isekai boom in anime. It's only now that it's really getting adapted, which is really nice. Yeah, I gotta say something about it. The characters, the story, it's really hooked me in. If season 2 and 3 can be as good as season 1, we're in for a treat, man, because I love season 1. I really, really adored the first season. And the fact that they are definitely, because, I would check the episode count while watching season 1, like just through wikis and stuff like that, and it would only count up to the second season that was announced, but, hasn't come out yet. The fact that we get a third season announcement before the second has even begun airing, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. It's a good sign that this project is in good hands. It's a good sign that they're treating it right. I mean, they're not going to rush it. Exactly. Like, they're not... Studio Bind is not trying to meet a bunch of deadlines with the second season. We already have a third announced. There's some wiggle room there. The story's going to breathe a little bit. Just great news. Just if you're a Mushoku Tensei fan, and we urge you to check it out, just check it out. I know that there's a lot of hate for it, and maybe some of it's justified. Maybe, I don't know. For me, I thought it was just a great story with great characters, but definitely check it out if you haven't. Yeah, we're getting a season 2 and a season 3, Germs. Hyped as hell. Hyped as
Completely
hell.
agree with that.
Hell yeah. All right, let's get into some other news here. Some big news, Germs. Probably, listen, I would say the biggest IP, anime-wise, in the world, in the history of the medium, Dragon Ball, especially ever since it came out here in the West, it blew up. It's 2021 and they're still making Dragon Ball. You know, Super came out. Everyone asked,
Is this it?
you know, when's the sequel to Super gonna come out? What's next? Because you know Toei's not done with it. This is Toei's cash cow. You know that Toei's not done with it. So recently we had Goku Day. Do you even know about the Sherms? Do you even know what the hell I'm talking about? So in Japanese, Go is like 5, I guess. Ku is 9. So, you know, people expect big announcements on Goku Day, the main character, right? But on you know how the fans are, right? Dragon Ball fans are in their own
4th,
league.
you know, all those kind of days.
Exactly. That's a great analogy to bring up. You're a great co-host, James. You're a great co-host. Toei Animation EU on their website. Literally, people are going to the URL for this shit. On May 5th, they had, you know, they had another page that says, you know, Toei Animation marks Goku Day surprise with a ... You go to the page, it's a dead page. But again, the fact that the page even exists, people are speculating, people are going rampant with the rumors. Oh, we're getting a sequel of some sort. People were thinking it was a series, maybe a movie. Eventually, Toei EU, the European site, took it down. You know, because this shit, it gains traction on Twitter. But guess what, Germs? It's not a rumor. It's been confirmed. Dragon Ball Super, or Dragon Ball as a whole, the whole
franchise,
the whole franchise is getting a sequel. And yeah, it's official now. Akira Toriyama, the creator, legendary mangaka, has commented on it. So let me read this to you. An all-new movie since Dragon Ball Super Broly is currently in the making. Holy shit, I forgot about Broly. Broly came out after Super, yeah. Just like the previous movie, I'm heavily leading the story and the dialogue production for another amazing film. I really shouldn't talk about it too much, but be prepared for some extreme and entertaining bouts, which may feature an unexpected character. So, I guess the Broly route, right? Like last movie. We'll be charting some unexplored territory in terms of the visual aesthetics to give the audience an amazing ride, so I hope everybody will look forward to the new movie. These are Akira Toriyama's words. That is as official as it gets. We are getting a new Dragon Ball movie, 2021. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're probably elated to hear this news. If you're not, you're probably not surprised. I mean, it's Dragon Ball. But yeah, this is the one franchise that will absolutely not die.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of this news, Germs? What do you think of this news?
You know, I kind of missed the Brawly train. Unfortunately, I heard it's so good. You know, I do as a child. You know, I always watched Dragon Ball. You know, I'm not such a super huge fan, but you know, I played the game. I played Fighters Z. You know, had a great time. Me and you. That was great times. Great times. So you know, I think this probably gives me motivation to watch that Brawly movie. I just heard really great. I never heard anything bad about that movie. You know. Maybe Super's a little weird, you know, it wasn't, you know, fully by Toriyama or something like that. You know, maybe it was by his assistants or something. So I was like, you know, meh, you know. But Brawly, I definitely got to go check that out and then, you know, see this movie as well. Maybe see maybe some more previous movies as well. You know, they're just movies, you know, knock it out an hour and a half. Easy peasy. And, it's, you know, it's Dragon Ball. It's not, you know, there's no super long, in-depth storyline. It's just dumb Dragon Ball fun, you know. We're here to have fun.
Watch the Dragon Ball fans come for your head after that statement. Yeah, so from what I understand, after Z, you know, you had GT, you had Kai, whatever. For the Super storyline, you had Battle of the Gods, and then Frieza, the Frieza movie. Those are like the first two arcs in Super, and then Super goes past those arcs, and then we also had the Broly movie. So I have not seen Super. It doesn't look like it's for me. The Dragon Ball franchises, because I've seen the original Dragon Ball. The original Dragon Ball is funny and perverted, and they're not blowing up planets. Like, it's a lot more grounded in not as crazy as Z gets, and Super, they have universes and shit now. It's the IP is blown up to such a monumental. Everyone expects when there's new Dragon Ball, they want the biggest fights. They want a new Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan
Ultra
God,
Instinct.
or all the crazy shit that's Ultra Instinct. They have to keep upping the ante, and that's kind of why I'm out of it. I don't want to see a new villain that's stronger than the last. I've already seen a villain that's stronger than the last 100 times already. I don't need to see any of that stuff. But you can't deny, you absolutely cannot deny that this is probably the biggest anime of all time. Just the franchise, Dragon Ball. It killed it in Japan. I believe it's the second highest selling manga after One Piece. One Piece is a beast, right? But it came over here in the West, and
way bigger than One Piece.
If you're an American, way bigger than One Piece. The two biggest shows to ever come out in the West, anime wise, are definitely Dragon Ball and Naruto. There's just no denying those two shows they're leagues above everything else. And if you're an anime fan in America, you really should be thanking Dragon Ball for really paving the way for all of this stuff. I mean, there's people that are Dragon Ball fans that don't even give a shit about anime. They're just Dragon Ball fans. You know what I mean? So the franchise is so big, so popular, so massive. I think it's done better over here in the West than over in Japan, and globally too. I mean, it's done well globally too. There's no denying that. And listen, if you're Toei, business-wise, why wouldn't you keep the franchise alive? Why wouldn't you? Right? Like, Super doesn't look like it's for me. Maybe it's not for you, right? Like, we'll check out the movies, but maybe we're not going to binge the whole show. But why wouldn't you keep something alive if it's an absolute cash cow? Remember, they're not just making money off the Blu-rays, Germs. They're making money off of the figures,
trading card
the shirts,
game,
the backpacks, the trading card game, everything, the plushies. There's so much Dragon Ball stuff out there. The blankets, the keychains, like, you name it. There's Dragon Ball for everything. Shoes. I mean, it's when you look at American pop culture, Dragon Ball's in there. It has transcended anime. This is not just an anime thing. This is not just a Japanese thing. If you grew up in the 90s, even the early 2000s, if you're familiar with Toonami, you watch Dragon Ball. You at least know about it. I mean, most people know about it. And yeah, more Dragon Ball. If you're a fan of the series, this is good news for you. If you're not, well, I mean, can you really be surprised by this? I mean, business-wise, I see how this completely makes sense, right, Germs?
Yeah, totally makes sense.
And look at all the times they've re-released Z on Blu-ray, and all of the that's all. Oh, we can do a whole discussion on that shit, but all the money they've made off the Kai Blu-rays, the Super Blu-rays, all of it. I mean, this franchise is not going to die anytime soon. They're going to make another Super movie, and that's not it. Because right after that movie airs, the fans are going to ask, when's the next Dragon Ball? When's the next Dragon Ball? I don't know when the next after this is going to come. Maybe 2023, 2024. We don't know, but it's coming. It's not dead. Whether it's a special, a movie, a whole series, it's not dead. And even Akira Toriyama was kind of coaxed back into the manga. He didn't do because the dude's rolling in cash. I mean, you got to imagine how much Toriyama has made at this point. Not only with Dragon Ball, but Dragon Quest design and just like designs in general that he sold. I mean, the guy is one of the most prolific manga artists of all time, for sure, no doubt about that. And with Super, he wasn't the artist for it, but he did lead the story. Like, he did give the okay on it. So, yeah, I mean, it's not dying anytime soon.
I just have one question that I wonder what you think about it, because, anime is, it's not going to, there's no time limit on, 10, 20, 500, whatever years. anime is gonna be going. What do you think is gonna happen when Akira Toriyama eventually does, bite the bullet, in like, I don't know, 10, 20 years while we're still watching anime? What do you think, the Dragon Ball name will still continue going on after Toriyama's gone, or this is like, way in the future, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, if Toei has the rights, they'll keep pumping it out. I mean, think of the games. Just think of all of it, dude. The shirts, the merchandise. The merchandise will certainly never end. In terms of storyline, like canon,
maybe a remake
anime,
or something once a few years after he passes or something.
Yeah, they'll do something with it. It's certainly release-wise. There's no doubt about that. At some point, because they came out with the level sets, Germs, and the level sets were the original aspect ratio in 1080p Blu-ray quality. And then they said the hell with that. And so now if you want to buy the Blu-rays, they're a little bit cropped and there's grain issues. And again, that's a whole other discussion we can get into. But certainly the releases will never stop. I mean, when everything goes to 4K, there's going to be a 4K release of Dragon Ball. It's going to happen. When everything goes to 8K, there's going to be an 8K remaster of Dragon Ball. When everything goes to 16K, there's going to be a 16K remaster of Dragon Ball. They pump it out and it just makes some money. At no point it's so big that at no point fans are like, you know what, we're not going to support that release. I think they came out with a set for maybe the 30th anniversary. I forget what anniversary it was for, but it was a really shitty release. Really shitty. Like,
they didn't even care.
They didn't really add anything. They didn't even care. It was just a new box, new art, almost the same video format, and people still bought it. There was a limited release. Instantly. It was more expensive than sold out instantly within weeks. More expensive than normal Blu-rays. Way more expensive. I think it was like hundreds of dollars. This is at market value, and it's sold out. I mean, the Dragon Ball fans are really a life of their own, and so again, after Akira Toriyama bites the dust, I don't know what they'll do with the franchise, but the franchise will certainly continue in some way or another. Games,
remakes.
I would assume more anime. Yeah, a remake of some sort. They'll remake the original. They'll remake Super. They'll remake Kai again. They'll do something. Like, it's not ending. They'll do remasters. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But given the 30-year track history that we have, the track record we have, Dragon Ball is not going anywhere. And if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you love that. If you are a Dragon Ball fan, you're probably pissed off that they don't have the original aspect ratio in 1080p. I'm pissed off, but many, many different ways to watch Dragon Ball in terms of like releases, official releases. But yeah, I don't think it goes anywhere anytime soon. A new Dragon Ball Super movie is coming out. I'll watch the movies, but dude, I don't know about you. Are you ever going to check out Super? I don't know.
The movies,
man. Yeah. I don't know. Movies, yeah, but how long is the anime? A couple hundred episodes?
180.
I mean, it's just not. I don't know, man. Another tournament, another villain that's stronger than every other villain they face. It's just not my cup of tea at this point. But hey, if you love it, no shade to you. So yeah, guys, what do you think of more Dragon Ball coming out? 2022. It's officially confirmed. We're getting a new Dragon Ball anime. Everyone was speculating, when are we going to get the sequel to Super? Here we go. We don't know what the movie's going to be about. We don't know anything about it. But if it comes out of the lips of Akira Toriyama, that's a fact. It's coming. He's working on it. And even though he's not, he's involved, right? Like, he's doing dialogue and stuff like that. So what do you guys think? Drop a comment below. You excited for new Dragon Ball? Are you done with the franchise? Have you never even checked it out? I assume new anime fans are probably like, whoa, this Dragon Ball shit has like hundreds of episodes. But there's no doubt that it's a classic. There's no doubt that you've seen the meme over 9,000. It's just part of pop culture at a certain point. You know what I mean? It's bigger than anime. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys think with this one. All right. Let's get into some more news here, Germs. This one is more up your alley for sure. Finally, we are getting a romantic comedy adaptation of Komi-san. Komi Can't Communicate. Is that the English name, Germs?
Yep.
It's coming. We're getting an anime adaptation. People, from what I've read, the comments I've read, people were never thinking that this would happen. You've read the manga, is that correct?
Oh,
You
I'm so
hyped?
hyped. It's so good. I just hope there's more than like 24 episodes. You know, I want to see this. I want to see the whole thing get adapted. You know, there's so many good moments. I can't even. You know, maybe if I
Is it
you go.
is
Oh
it
yeah,
still
it's still
going?
going. There's
Is it still
tons of good
going?
moments. There's so many good
Okay. Yeah.
characters. Like it's just like Nagatoro, but like it's just only gonna get better. More and more people come in. You know, the
Yeah.
development between Komi-san and the main character. Oh, it's so good. It's all
Mhm.
so good. All the side characters are fantastic. You know, I don't hate a single one of them. I love them all. So I'm just super excited.
Mhm.
Super excited. It's gonna be fantastic. I just hope it's more than 12. That's all I can hope.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people are, we got a preview trailer for it.
Oh,
It's only like a
beautiful.
minute
Looks good.
long. But listen, the animation looks good. This is dropping fall this year, 2021. It's coming out in October. And yeah, I mean, again, with a lot of these announcements, there's not much to say for someone who hasn't really seen or read it before. But listen, the people are hyped about this, and if the people are hyped,
It's gotta be a
I got to
reason.
check it out. I got to check it out. Yeah, it's giving me a reason. Maybe expect this to be on the weekly roundup for
I
our
don't know.
fall.
Yes, it
when
will
we
be.
get there
Don't
eventually.
listen to James.
There we go. Hey, you heard it. You heard it live. You heard it from Germs. I'm not familiar with the series, but just the fact that it has so much hype going into it, hey, I'm here for it. I don't even want to know what it's about. I mean, I can kind of guess with the title and how she looks, but I don't even want to guess. I want to go into this blind. I want to have a great time. It's a romantic comedy. Is that correct,
Oh, a little
Germs?
bit. Yeah. It's more like a slice of life
Yeah.
/ romantic comedy. It's just like how like
Yeah.
Nagatoro is. The romantic really
Yeah.
builds up later and later, but initially it's just really wholesome, really great stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And tell the people, Germs, how hyped are you for this one? Give it a scale of 1 to 10. Where is this on your radar? And actually tell the people, how far in the manga did you get? Did you read a lot of it? Are you familiar with what's currently going on? Or did you just read enough to where you're like, nah, this is the good shit? Where are you at with it?
I'm trying to think. I'm like, is there anything that else I would give that's worthy of like a 10? It's like I can't think of anything else I'm more hyped of. A lot of the other series I've read, like, oh, it's a good series, but Komi-san is just so good. I'm just so hyped to see. I think this is a 10 out of 10. Pretty rare for me. There's a lot of other fantastic series I've read as manga, and whenever they do get adaptation, I'm like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. But Komi-san is like, when we hear that adaptation, baby, oh yeah, I'm completely excited for this one. Like Naruto was like a great
I bet.
when that got announced, I was like really excited and happy for that. That was probably like a 9 out of 10 of hype for me on that one for Nagatoro, but this is a 10 out of 10. This is just a little bit of touch above. So in the manga wise, I think I'm like 100 chapters in. I think it's gone a lot farther than that is at the moment, and there's a few arcs that I've missed. But
Yeah.
I've read deep enough where the spice has gotten going. I know I've seen some pictures, and the memes and stuff of some later arcs. I'm like, woo, I need to catch up at some point. So, maybe I'll wait until after I watch the anime and then catch back up. Just so the anime would be a fresh refresher before I start reading the manga again.
Right.
Because just like a Nagatoro, the style that the anime has and the look of it looks absolutely fantastic. Not just like a generic looking anime. It looks like Komi-san, adapted, not just
And those, and those are the best adaptations when they're bringing the manga panels to life and actually animating them, taking the same style, but just giving it a breath of fresh air, bringing it to life. I read that in the comments as well. I mean, people are fucking hyped about this shit, and I'm hyped too. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it, but I will be checking this out with you on the weekly roundup for fall. It's going to be done by OLM, the studio. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Their most prominent stuff is Pokemon. That's kind of where I'm familiar with them. But hey, listen, Studio Schmudio, the trailer looks good. Forget all that. If the trailer looks good, it's promising. Great manga. Safe to say we're hyped, right? Safe to say we're hyped.
Definitely.
Absolutely. All right, guys. If you're hyped, give us a comment below. Give this video a like. Yeah, Komi-san, it's coming. People never thought it would come, but we're getting an anime adaptation. So awesome news. All right, for our fourth topic on the weekly news, let's get this one out of the way. So for our fourth topic on the weekly news, we have this one's gonna hit close to home for you, Germs. Not for me, but for you for sure. So, Viz Media's Shonen Jump service and Shueisha's Manga Plus have announced they have officially launched. I think the first chapter's out. Chougin X, the new manga by Tokyo Ghoul creator Sui Ishida. And yeah, he's releasing it on Shueisha's Tonari no Young Jump website. And, as of Monday of this recording, it's already out. So yeah, the mangaka of Tokyo Ghoul has a new project. It's coming out, Chougin X. I have a mixed history with the series. This is one of your favorite series.
Oh yeah,
for
definitely.
sure. So I'll let you talk about it. I've only seen the anime adaptation. We all know how the anime adaptation went. I saw the first 2 seasons, right, Germs? There's 4, and I saw the first 2. I believe I saw 2. After the second, I'm like, no, I'm out. Germs has read the manga. I know, just from what I've seen, from what I've read, I know the manga's good. Stay away from that anime adaptation. But yeah, you're a big fan of Tokyo Ghoul, so are you hyped for this? Where's your head at with this one, Germs?
I think this announcement is good news for me. It kind of quelled my fears that I had originally, because I was a little scared once the Tokyo Ghoul ended, and I was like, oh, please, don't do a third arc or whatever. Please just end it where it is. Let it die peacefully, please. So I'm really happy to see that it's not a continuation of Tokyo Ghoul or going off that name. Whatever finished is finished, ends beautifully. Now that Tokyo Ghoul chapter is closed. Super happy. Great franchise. Totally read it. Please don't watch the anime, but it's super excited that that news just confirms for me that Tokyo Ghoul is now finished. I don't need to worry about a surprise announcement, the third arc or something. So finally, Tokyo Ghoul is closed. Totally read it. Super recommend. I don't know if I'm super excited to read this new series.
Let me ask a question. Will you check it out? Are you interested enough to where you'll check it out, or you're like, I'll see if the people say it's good or not? Where are you at with it?
Yeah, I think with all the other series, I have to read and all this stuff. I think I'm gonna wait to see what people say about it. Kind of like how Boruto was.
Yeah.
But you know how Boruto went. Why we're not talking about it this weekly. So. So I'll hear about what people say about it.
Sorry, Boruto fans. Sorry, Boruto fans. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Samurai 8. Was it Samurai 8? Kishimoto's work after Naruto. Huge Naruto fans, both of us. But rest in peace to that. Shonen Jump and Shueisha in general, very, very competitive market. You can have a hit. I mean, Oda, if after One Piece, and by the way, One Piece will never end. I'm convinced that it'll never end. Let's say it ends in some alternate universe, right? If Oda's like, you know what, I'm going to create a new manga series, and it doesn't.
There's no way that man. I know.
No. But let's just say, and it doesn't rank in the top 10 of Shonen Jump's, their weekly ratings. Even Oda would be at risk of being cut. I mean, they are cutthroat with Shonen Jump. They take their rankings extremely serious. I mean, I don't have the names with me, but I mean, almost every month we hear about series after series after series that gets cut because it just slips in the rankings. And Shonen Jump lives and dies by the rankings. I mean, there's no question about it, right? Look at Bleach. Oof. I mean, look at Hakusho. Oof. Go back to Yu Yu Hakusho, rushed ending. I mean, these mangaka, as soon as they're, that might have been just personal issues, but it's definitely Bleach. When a series starts dipping in the rankings, Jump will come to you after you worked on a series for 10 plus years and be like, yeah, you have like a month to wrap this up. You got 4 chapters. finish the story. You know, like they're cutthroat with it. And yeah, I thought you'd be a little bit more hyped for this one. But yeah, I mean, listen, when I watched Tokyo Ghoul with you, can I tell the story? I watched it with you. You got me into it. I didn't understand what the fuck was happening. I mean, I watched the first 2 seasons with you, and every week I'd be like, Germs, what's happening? What's this? Who is this? Why are they fighting? Like, what's their backstory? Why do they have this power? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I heard from Germs, ladies and gentlemen, the weebs out there? Read the manga. Read the manga. Read the manga. Every question, you'd have to read the manga to know that. You'd have to read the manga. Read the manga. It's explained in the manga. Oh, that's explained in the manga. Read the manga.
Let's skip this.
So, yes, you'd bring up how they skipped it. You'd rant about it, too. You'd be like, fuck, they skipped this, they skipped that. But yeah, so definitely not the best anime adaptation. We highly recommend that you check out the manga. And yeah, he's on to a new project. So hopefully this one goes well. We've seen in the past where it doesn't go well for prominent manga artists, but we wish him the best of luck. And if it's good enough, you'll check it out as a Tokyo Ghoul fan, right? If you hear enough good stuff
I just have one little, well, it's kind of a big yet little thing to add on. There's a little thing you skip there that it's an irregular release. It's not a weekly or monthly. Okay. So it's kind of, he releases it whenever he releases it kind of thing. So
it's that Taite Kubo shit, man. It's that what is it called? Oh man, it's the OVA that came out a few years ago. Let me go search it. But yeah, keep going, Germs.
So that's really weird concept. Like you would think, because usually whenever you get a contract, whatever, like a big thing, we want every week or every month at very least. But this one, a lot of manga, especially these days, especially like, if they already have long running series, hiatuses, Hunter x Hunter, Berserk, all that kind of stuff. So those have regular releases, whenever they feel like releasing. So it's just really interesting that Tsurushita is getting his own little like nice treatment. Release whenever you want, release a chapter. And I think it's digital mostly, I imagine, whenever it does. Yeah. So that's a really interesting concept. Probably. With the digital age. They're able to just like, you can work on a chapter, every once in a while, whenever you have it done. So hopefully the quality of it is nice and good because, he's not being rushed to, make these kind of chapters. There's no obligation every week or month to make something. Obviously, hopefully they keep, consistent in some kind of way, once every month or two, not just getting lazy with it, So I hope the one I was thinking of is Burn the Witch by Taite Kubo, the mangaka Bleach. See, it's so forgettable. We didn't remember it. That's how fucking forgettable it is. It was not that great of an anime. Let's be real. It was okay, but forgettable. Okay, let me explain to you why he's allowed to do this. Because he was such a prominent mangaka, he has higher value as opposed to like a new one trying to break into the industry. So they probably signed him on for Chougin X knowing that he's not going to be able to do it weekly or monthly. But they're like, you know what? Let us give you a contract. Give us what you can. You already have a fan base. People like you or people that are, so heavily invested in Tokyo Ghoul that they're going to check this out no matter what. So that's why they're a new mangaka, a guy trying to break into Shonen Jump, a guy trying to break into the industry would absolutely not get this kind of treatment for sure. And the only reason he's getting it, and rightfully so, I mean, he made a killer manga, right? Like Tokyo Ghoul's awesome. Manga. But, it's because of the name value, the brand, because he did Tokyo Ghoul. And yeah, I mean, we see the same thing with Burn the Witch. I wonder if the industry is going to start going this way. Because Burn the Witch has 4 chapters out, and that came out a year ago. So they're on their own. Once you've made it and you're coming in with a brand new series, you're on your own schedule, kind of. You know what I mean? They allow some flexibility. Where with a new mangaka, you need to deliver that shit weekly, and it needs to be good. And if it doesn't make the top rankings, you're gonna get cut. You know what I mean? So that's how I perceive that. Would you? You think along the same lines? I definitely agree. With all I think in total it's 300 chapters. Divide that by minimum 50. That's 6 whole years at the very minimum of just. But there's always been always been breaks and all that kind of stuff. So at the bare minimum, 6 years of working with them, making high quality content in my eyes. So I think I think he's been pretty consistent. I think every once in a while he had like, a little break, as you expect from, being able to work on something for 6 whole years consistently. So I see no reason why, his quality's been good, now he gets a little bit of a break, he doesn't have to like really focus on this his whole time, get some new ideas, new kind of concepts, not having to rush characters and all those kind of things. So hope it doesn't just take too long on it, but I think it's going to be good eventually.
Yeah, and think about the Tokyo Ghoul manga. I mean, it's sold a shit ton, dude. The anime was not successful. Thank you, Periot, for that. But the manga has no doubt been successful. No doubt. I mean, I see volumes everywhere. I mean, even for new manga readers, I mean, people say, check out Tokyo Ghoul. It's a good one. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those that you want to check out because you're not going to get that experience with the anime. So I thought you may be more hyped for it, but I guess I'll
wait a little bit.
We're veteran weebs, we've dabbled into enough mid and bad series before. So we're gonna keep tabs on it, see if the people love it. If the people love it, maybe we'll check it out. Hopefully, if it's good enough, we'll get an anime adaptation.
Not by Periot.
Knock on wood that it's not by Periot. Knock on wood. But yeah, guys, are you interested in Chougin X? It's been confirmed that it is not connected to Tokyo Ghoul at all. This is not a new arc. It's not, it's not like the fairy tale Eden Zero shit. It's not like another, no connection at all. Totally new series. You got to respect that, right? When Kishimoto came out with Samurai 8, he very well could have somehow piggybacked off Naruto or, I mean, Taite Kubo has, he's technically parried off of Bleach's success, saying that Burn the Witch is an alternate soul society. So, when a mangaka that's successful creates a new project and they're not relying on the IP name of their previous work, and they're admitting this is a whole new work. It's not a new soul society. It's not, you know what I mean? Like it's respectable. So hopefully it does well. What do you guys think of Chougin X? Are you guys going to be checking it out? Again, give us a comment below. We'd love to hear what the weebs out there are thinking with this one. Germs is a huge Tokyo Ghoul fan, so he's definitely keeping his eyes on it. I'm keeping my eyes on it. So yeah, that's the weekly news for you guys. That was the show for you guys. Did you guys enjoy that? This was a hell of an episode, wasn't it?
Tons of content here. We talked about so many things. I'm forgetting what we started talking about in the beginning.
So much good stuff. It's a great time to be an anime fan. People argue this is the golden era of anime, and it might be. I mean, think about this season, think about last season. I mean, we're just getting good stuff after good stuff, and it seems like genres are getting refined. The shonen genre is getting refined with Kaizen and Demon Slayer. Like, it just seems like storytelling is getting better, adaptations are getting better. You have those studios that aren't good, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's a great time to be it's a great time to be an anime fan, generally speaking, especially the access streaming, all the ways we have access to it. All right, weebs, we hope you enjoyed your stay. Hell of an episode. If you enjoyed your stay, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're a weeb like we are. We're sure you are if you're at this point in the video. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, because we are a podcast, we are, we have multiple ways of listening to us. Give us a follow on there as well. Anywhere you can follow us, it really helps out. Yeah, any final thoughts for this week's episode, Germs?
Tons of good stuff to talk about in anime, and then also, with Mortal Kombat, and then just all this great news. This is crazy how this happens every week.
Yeah, yep, every week. And Mortal Kombat, we're stepping outside our boundaries a little bit there, non-anime review, but hey, we're men of culture, we like many things here on the Weeb Retreat. So appreciate you guys sticking around. Make sure to hit that subscribe, follow us if you can. Yeah, Weeb's out. See you guys next week. Peace.